Everyone assumes emotional immaturity means you failed to grow up. But what if the most emotionally capable people, the ones who hold everything together, are actually the most emotionally stuck? Because psychology has quietly confirmed something that will completely change how you see yourself. The people who seem the most together on the outside are often running on a nervous system that never got the chance to feel safe. And today, you're going to understand exactly why. Picture a child, not in chaos, not in obvious abuse, just in a home where the emotional temperature kept changing without warning. Warm one morning, cold by afternoon, proud of you today, disappointed tomorrow. No explanation, no pattern, no safety. So that child did the only logical thing. They became a reader. They learned to sense tension before it became conflict, mood shifts before they became punishment, silence before it became rejection. They became hyper-aware, hyper-responsible. They stopped taking up space. They stopped expressing needs. They became easy. And the adults around them said, "This child is so mature for their age." But here's what nobody noticed. That child wasn't maturing. They were shrinking, quietly, efficiently, to fit inside an environment that had no room for a child's actual emotions. And that child is probably you. Because if you're watching this, you already recognized yourself. In the first 10 seconds, here's what nobody ever explained. Your brain didn't stop developing under that pressure. It reorganized. Instead of developing through safety and exploration, the way a child's brain is supposed to, your nervous system built itself around one priority: stay functional, stay acceptable, stay in control. And it succeeded. You became excellent at managing the outside world. Deadlines, responsibilities, other people's emotions. But the inside world, feelings, needs, vulnerability, intimacy, those didn't get enough safe repetition to fully develop. Think about that for a second. You can handle a full crisis at work with perfect calm. But when someone you love goes quiet for 2 hours, your entire nervous system goes into emergency mode. That's not a personality flaw. That is a brain that learned responsibility before it learned safety. And the consequences of that are showing up in your relationships right now. Psychologists call this a stress-adapted nervous system. And here's how it silently runs your relationships, without you even realizing it. When emotional closeness was inconsistent growing up, your brain absorbed one core lesson: connection equals uncertainty. So your nervous system developed a strategy. Strategy 1, anxious attachment. You crave closeness more than almost anything. But the moment you get it, you can't fully trust it. You watch tone, you analyze texts, you replay conversations looking for warning signs. Because distance doesn't feel neutral to you. It feels like a countdown to abandonment. Does that sound like you? Strategy 2, avoidant attachment. You told yourself you don't need much. You pull back when someone gets too close. You intellectualize your feelings instead of expressing them. You feel a strange relief when a relationship ends, even one you actually wanted. Not because you don't want love, but because somewhere underneath, your nervous system believes needing too much always leads to disappointment. Both of these strategies were smart once. They protected you. But now they're running your adult relationships on childhood programming that no longer matches your actual life. And then there's the part that explains everything else. Think about the person you couldn't stop thinking about, even after they kept disappointing you, the one you knew wasn't right for you, but you couldn't leave. You told yourself it was love. Maybe it was chemistry. Maybe it was just them. It wasn't. It was your nervous system, caught inside a reward loop it couldn't escape. Here's the psychology. When someone is warm sometimes and cold other times, your brain doesn't learn to detach. It becomes addicted, because unpredictable rewards activate the brain's dopamine system more powerfully than consistent ones. Every moment of warmth after a period of coldness feels like oxygen after drowning. Hope spikes, then crashes. then spikes again. And that cycle creates a psychological bond, stronger than any stable, healthy relationship ever could. This is called trauma bonding, not dramatic abuse, not obvious manipulation, just emotional unpredictability, paired with enough moments of closeness to keep your nervous system hooked. Your brain was never chasing pain, it was chasing relief. That's why calm feels boring. Consistency feels suspicious. And peace, actual peace, feels like something must be wrong. Here's the truth most people won't say out loud. You are probably replaying this exact pattern right now, in your current relationship, in how you shut down when you should speak up, in the way you immediately assume you did something wrong. When someone goes quiet, you don't test people because you're toxic. You don't withdraw because you don't care. You don't stay too long because you're weak. You do all of it because your nervous system is still running a survival program, written when you were a child, and it genuinely does not know that the emergency is over. Ask yourself honestly, how fast you abandon your own needs to keep the peace. How physically uncomfortable does it feel to simply say the words, "I need reassurance right now"? How often do you mistake emotional stability for something being wrong, like you're waiting for it to fall apart? That discomfort is not weakness. It is not immaturity. It is a signal from a nervous system that learned responsibility before it ever learned it was safe to need anything. You are not emotionally behind. You were emotionally early, forced to carry weight before your nervous system was ever built for it. And the path forward isn't about going back and fixing what happened. You can't rewrite the past, but you can do something tonight that begins to rewire the pattern. Here's one thing. Do this today, the next time you feel the urge to go quiet instead of expressing a need. Stop. Take out your phone. Open your notes. Write down exactly what you need in that moment. Not to send it, not to say it yet, just name it. I need to feel like I matter to this person. I need to know this isn't going to disappear. I need 5 minutes of actual reassurance. That single act, naming a need without immediately abandoning it, is how a nervous system begins to learn that safety is possible. Not in one conversation, not in one relationship, but one named moment at a time. Because some parts of you didn't break. They adapted. And when you stop calling that adaptation immaturity, they finally get the space they always needed to grow. If this described you, share this with someone who is still calling themselves immature for something that was never immaturity at all. It was survival. And survival was the most intelligent thing you ever did.